Hello, bonjour, 你好. My name is Stephanie Lin. I've had the opportunity to build my international career and meet a lot of amazing talents in my journey. It's my pleasure to present an amazing selection of professionals and entrepreneurs who went an extra mile to build their international career and create some crazy good things. I hope their work and hard-earned wisdom will help you learn, connect, and live the best of your lives. Come join us at www.stephenlinmeet.com to get additional tips that we won't share anywhere else. Let's begin the journey. In this episode, I'm so excited to interview Stephen Choi, the co-founder of Hi Right Now and a super connector. Stephen also shared his exclusive tips on how to build your network and develop meaningful relationships in a new place on our website. Here's the one and only Stephen Choi.
My name is Stephen Choi, and I'm the founder and CEO of Hi Right Now. Hi Right Now is your meaningful relationship guide. It's the easiest way to meet ambitious and intriguing people, expand your professional network, and build your community via a series of quick one-on-one video conversations. It's also an online events platform focused on one-on-one video conversations. So we allow other community builders, big organizations, and different corporations and universities to strengthen the ties within their community through our one-on-one video conversations platform. We started the company at the turn of the pandemic. So basically what happened was my co-founder, George, and I, we were working on a slightly different startup before the pandemic. We were working on this startup that it was called Vibe. And it was mainly around connecting digital nomads and millennial business travelers whenever they cross paths with each other. Basically, the idea was that digital nomads have a lot of difficulty when it comes to maintaining and building their community because they're kind of moving around a lot on their own. So it might be easy for them to form a lot of different connections all over the world. But after they have all these very short, meaningful connections and in different places, then like what happens? So that was that idea. And then pretty much the idea for Vibe and the idea for Hi Right Now, the vision is the same. The vision has always been the same. And that vision is to empower humanity to form deep, meaningful connections. And I discovered this vision really after realizing that having really traveled and lived all over the world and having moved my life every 1 or 2 years since I was born, it's always been a huge struggle for me to maintain and build my own community. Forming new connections, meeting new people has always been a strong suit, and it's something that I've developed as kind of like my survival mechanism. But because I always moved around a lot, kind of maintaining these connections and really building something lasting, these lasting connections and actual community was something that I never really properly experienced until I lived in New York for a little bit and then moved to London recently and then had a chance to live here for more than 2 years, actually. So I realized that it's not just me, but more and more people are choosing this lifestyle of kind of digital nomadism. And right now, with the assistance of the coronavirus pandemic, people are living their lives, very separate lives. They're kind of, like the entire world is telling themselves to distance themselves socially. So it's definitely making it harder for them to meet new people and meet people that they should be meeting within their existing online and offline community. So Hi Right Now is how I intend to achieve that vision of empowering humanity to form deep, meaningful connections by enabling people to say hi right now from wherever they are.
Stephen, you were born in California, moved back to South Korea and stayed there until 16. Then you went to the US for studies and now you're in London. You're truly a third culture kid and international professional. If people ask you, where are you from? What would you say?
Oh man, that's a pretty difficult answer actually, or question. I just like to say, exactly what you just told me, right? I just told them, yeah, I'm Korean. I grew up in Korea. My parents are Korean, but I was also born in the States. And my parents were the way they taught me was very like non-Korean. And I also spent a lot of time in the States. So I would say like half Korean, half American, so like kind of Korean American.
What motivated you to travel around the world and build your international career?
Yeah, that motivation bit is pretty interesting. It wasn't something that I've always wanted to do, or it wasn't something that I've kind of like dreamed of doing when I was a kid or anything like that. It's just that I think it really, my traveling around the world, my kind of like going to different places all the time really were shaped by my childhood experiences of moving around a lot every 1 to 2 years. So even within Seoul, Korea, when I was growing up, actually South Korea was going through this huge economic boom back in the 1990s. And yeah, because of that, we moved around a lot as a family. Also, my mom is like the seeker of truth and like always wants to like find that truth. And like she's really interested in spirituality. So we moved around a lot. And then like when I graduated from college, I realized that number one, I never really felt home anywhere in the States. Like it was definitely a new environment for me. I was born there, but I didn't really grow up there. So I felt like I wanted to just like, I just knew just instinctively that there's something out there bigger than, you know, what I knew, which is like, you know, me being in California or me being, you know, in the US. So like that led me to kind of move to New York, and that was fascinating. And then while I was in New York, my friends and I, we started traveling to Europe a lot. And that's when I discovered that, wow, the world is so much bigger than just being just the US, right? And I did a bit of these jaunts meaning like, you know, I would spend like a 1 to 2 months just kind of traveling all around Europe. And then I'd also, after I really discovered this lifestyle of location independence and digital nomadism, quit my job in New York. And then I also traveled in Asia with my friends and everything. I think I just kind of fell into it rather than just like, you know, thinking about it really proactively. And then kind of learned that it just like, you know, number one, as I said, like kind of like this feeling that I haven't really found my home yet. So I want to discover my home. That was number one. And number two, it's just fun to discover all these different cultures and new places and meet new people, and then learn more about the world and learn more about yourself and learn more about a new dimension about yourselves.
In past 10 years, what's the one small thing or small change that made a big difference in your life? I mean, improve your life or well-being significantly?
This notion that with community, anything can happen. You can do anything. Basically, like in my early 20s, I was very, very interested in just kind of like finding myself, who I am. And I need to like kind of really like focus on myself and then like really try to find like what I'm passionate about, like what I'm interested in, what my vision is and everything. But then also I think my kind of childhood and growing up and everything, I never really belonged to any like one specific community. So like I never even thought about this concept of community. But I think it's like more and more so when I think about it, it's like when I lived in New York, the reason why my period in New York was so transformational was because for the first time in my life, I was able to cultivate my own community with some of the most amazing people that I met to this day. And then we still keep in contact to this day. And then that really taught me that, wow, it's actually when you are part of something and when this like community resonates with you, and then a lot of people are there to really support you, and then you're there to support the community, like literally anything is possible. And then I experienced that the same kind of thing, but to another degree when I moved to London, and I was able to cultivate community here in London as well.
Your favorite quote?
My favorite quote is actually it's my own quote. It's let the vibe guide you. Let the vibe guide you. So basically, vibe has been sort of like the core philosophy and principle of our community from a long time ago. And so we'd always jokingly say, hey, let the vibe guide you. But it really is, you know, like with vibe, you always know like where the vibe is at. And when you meet someone, for example, or when you come across an opportunity, like it's that vibe, is that gut feeling, is that like that thing that you feel with your heart. It's that intuitive thing that you don't even know like you can't even properly explain or express, but like it's there, right?
What book you gift the most, or what's your favorite book?
If I were to pick, it would be Start With Why by Simon Sinek. And that book was very, very good because it really got me thinking about my life and what I'm doing, why I'm doing certain things, and what really sort of directs me in a certain way. So basically the whole premise of the book, it talks about how these transformational figures and people and companies in the world, like the way they communicate, the way they express themselves is starkly different from the way other companies and people communicate themselves. And they always communicate their why, not what, not how, but they communicate their why first, and everything is oriented around that why, that purpose. And then everything is kind of like aligned. Everything they do is aligned with that vision. Reading that book really kind of got me start thinking about what is my vision here and what is my why, what is my like life's purpose, like why am I on this earth and all that stuff.
And what single purchase under $100 improved your life the most?
Recently, I purchased this mic that I'm using right now, this podcast mic, right? And it's been extremely, extremely good because I've been kind of putting off this, doing my own podcast for a long time, but then I bought it, and now it's just like my way of sort of like documenting my own journey, and also giving our Hi Right Now friends and fans a brief and raw glimpse into the launching of our startup. And everything happens through this mic. And I think I bought it for like 40 pounds or something like that. So it's not that expensive. It's pretty low maintenance. But yeah, it's been really, really good.
And since you move around and travel a lot, what are some of your essential tools you use for increasing your productivity and well-being?
I'm a little sensitive to noise. So like for me, like getting a good night's sleep is super important. But then, when you travel around a lot, for example, like when you stay at a hostel or when you like in a new environment at an Airbnb or whatever, like sometimes like there's a lot of noise and like you just cannot afford to have that. So I used to carry around my Bose noise cancellation headphones, like earbuds a lot. But now I've recently purchased this pair of AirPods Pro in Singapore while I was there earlier this year. So I have that. It's not, I don't really, the room I'm currently in is pretty good in terms of soundproof. So I don't really use them that much, but yeah, I always carry them around. I always carry my eye mask also, like to make sure that my sleep is good, right? So I always like to block out all the sunlight when I go to sleep. And what else? Jacket, like a light jacket, like a windbreaker jacket. I have a little hat, like a cap, like almost kind of like a baseball cap. So I have that. I have this like really good backpack. It's called Wandered. I'm not sponsored, by the way, but it's a really good backpack with a lot of pockets and everything. I love pockets, right? You can just like stash away with like whatever you want, and you can pull out whatever you want. So that, and yeah, always a healthy amount of water and contact lenses, key.
Okay, last question. What are the most important things you want people to remember about you? So your elevator pitch.
My elevator pitch would be that it's really simple. Hi right now. And that is my purpose and that is my vision. My vision and my purpose is to enable you to say hi right now to the most inspiring, uplifting, and meaningful people and intriguing people and the most relevant and like-minded people around the world. And, that is my vision, and that is what I'm doing with my company. That is my company name. So that's it. Hi right now.
What a journey. Thanks for listening. If you like the show, please subscribe on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, or anywhere you listen to the podcast, and share it with your friends, as helping each other and growing together is just so much fun. Head to www.stephanielinme.com for additional tips and info. Remember, play the long game and be great every day. Bye, ciao, 下次见。